What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Wager Alarm NFL wins totals. We're covering the AFC West tonight. My name's Howard Bender. With me, of course, Craig Mish. If you've missed any of the earlier videos around the AFC, you can check them all out on wageralarm.com or on our YouTube page. Craig, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. I've really enjoyed this series of us doing all of the win totals for sure. And I think that tonight we're going to have a real good one of my favorite ones on the board this year we're going to discuss. AFC definitely is the Chiefs to lose. I know we're going to talk about them here for sure. But, of course, the question is, in terms of wins, can a team's win total ever be higher in the history of the NFL betting a 12.5 going into the season? Now, there are 17 games, and I get that. Mm-hmm. But 12.5 is their number going into the season. Wow, Howard, that tells you what a lot of people think about them going into the year.
And it's really hard to argue against that. It really is. Like, try taking the con side of that. Take the under, and you tell me. I mean, listen, obviously things can happen. The ball bounces in different ways. Somebody gets COVID, which, by the way, if you want to know more thoughts from Craig and I, on the 17-game season, as well as thoughts on COVID. We talk about that a lot in the AFC East one, which was the first one we did, but we also bring it up again in the North when we talk about Lamar Jackson not being vaccinated. But this, you think that the Chiefs are the buildup here, but the most exciting one for me, Craig, the one I've been anxiously awaiting getting to talk to you about is here in the AFC West, and it is the Denver Broncos. Yes. Because in the spirit of Fonzie, I had faith. Pat Shurmur let me down. You said to me, Pat Shurmur is the most vanilla offense you could possibly get. I said, nah, man, you got Jerry Jeudy and Cortland's son. Drew Lock's going to be somebody. Craig, the number here on FanDuel is 8.5 wins for Denver, and I like the under.
It's my favorite one, probably, in the AFC. Yeah. A lot of bad signs from Denver, and what a wonderful stadium. And what a wonderful organization they've been in Super Bowls. But it's like when John Elway sort of takes the demotion, you got to worry a little bit. Like if you're willing to demote that guy, then something must be going on there. I think that this is on the verge of like a blow up type team. I think now you're right. They do have Sutton and they do have Jeudy. That is true. Do they have anything else? Like, do they have anything else on this team that gets you excited? Because even if they did, they are not going to utilize that player. They are scared to death of letting Drew Lock loose. The backup finally is a little bit better this year on their team. I understand that, and there'll be some competition there for sure. And the other thing that you should know about the Denver Broncos is that when we do our Wager Alarm live streams in week 1 and week 2 and they're home, we're going to take them. We're going to take the Broncos because you can't beat the Broncos in week 1 of the NFL season in Mile High. They win and cover, and they look awful doing it, and they win. And then you think the Broncos are going to be good because they have that home field advantage, and then they go the other way. I'm sorry. No, it is not happening for me with them. I think they got a clean house. I don't like the coaching staff. I don't like the personnel. I love the home field advantage in the first couple of weeks. So because of their home field advantage, and I want to make this clear, Howard, Denver is never going 2-15 because of that. Because of the home field advantage that they have, they're always going to be able to win those close games at the end. But I don't think they're winning 9 games. So I got under 8.5.
I like Sutton. I like Jeudy. I like Javonte Williams, the kid from North Carolina that they brought in the draft. I would have preferred him with the Jets, but that's a totally different story. That's my own fandom. But those are the only 3 players on the team who I like. Listen, Drew Lock can throw the hero ball. Teddy Bridgewater can throw the short ball, but, you can't merge the 2 of them into one power quarterback. So, yeah, listen, I definitely don't see them winning 9 games. I barely see them winning 8 games, to be honest with you. Not a fan. I'm with you on the under here. I have seen the light, Craig, and you
Yeah,
were
I
shining
don't
it
like it.
right in my face.
Yeah, and again, they have, to me. We're going to talk about the Raiders, but Denver has, to me, the basically the equalizer of home field advantage, of players getting tired in the fourth quarter. So when you go back and look at the last 30 years of them playing at home, you're almost always going to see in the 8-game season, or 16-game season, 5-3, 4-4, 5-3. What's their record? Sometimes it's 6-10, but they still win those home games, and because of that, I would be interested in their total next year if they bomb this year, maybe going over because of that home field advantage. But this is a poor team, man. Not good.
All right, let's move off of them. Let's talk about the big boys of the division. 12.5 is the number. The Kansas City Chiefs argue for the under. I guess what, an injury to Pat Mahomes is really all you're looking at.
Yeah, I'm just gonna just flat out stay away from here. Like I said, when if you go back and watch our talk about Houston on the South, and the Chiefs are at the top here in the West, I just the number is too high for me, just because, again, as you mentioned, the key player gets hurt, it changes everything, and then you have to win so many games without him playing. But at the same time, could they go toward a 17-0? Yes, I could see that too. I could see them being 11, 12-0. And then the other factors kind of come in too. Like, are they going to cruise at the end? Do you see another team fighting them for contention for home field? I don't know. Like, I think Baltimore may be the second best team, but there's a gap for me between Baltimore and Kansas City. So I'm just going to pass this one and not get tempted into the over/under here.
Okay, I do think Buffalo, if what we saw from them last year was legit, i.e., Josh Allen, that could be
Right.
an interesting push for at least there. But you make a great point, and we talked about this actually on the AFC East. You know, with the extra game this season, now are we looking at the possibility of teams resting starters at the end, not just for 1 week, but possibly for even two, if nobody's challenging them for home field advantage throughout the playoffs? So that could be a very interesting factor in there as well. So I'll stay away from the Chiefs as well. Let's go to the Raiders then, right? 6.5 is the number. It seems low, right? Well, I mean, listen, they've destroyed their offensive line, which wasn't even very good last year. They really didn't improve any kind of offensive personnel except for bringing in Kenyon Drake. So I don't know if that doesn't move the needle. And defensively, I mean, they've got okay guys in the secondary, but this is not a team that threatens very much. But if I mean, 6.5, 5-12. I mean, I could see it. 6-10, 6-11. I could see it.
Yeah, they faded so hard the last couple of years that
Terribly.
it's like really hard to back them, and they're going to be entering a situation where they're probably going to have as good a home field advantage as any team in the NFL. Like, this is going to be a game changer for them playing in that place. It's going to be insane in Las Vegas. I was hoping to go this year. Now that's even in jeopardy too for me, but I'm not sure their direction, Howard. I don't know what kind of year they want to have this year. Like, do they want to win, or is this the year where they say, okay, let's go get Watson, or let's go get Aaron Rodgers after the year? Like, I feel like that is coming. Like, I feel like someone's going to end up taking over for Carr after this year. So, I mean, I guess I would lean. I hate to say it. I guess I would lean under here, because I just don't think that they're very good. And they've sort of bitten me the last couple of years in the last 6 or 7 games. Just I bought in halfway through the year, and they just completely fell apart. And I thought that those were more talented teams than the ones that they have right now. So a little lean toward the under, but nothing major on this one.
Yeah, I'm not enamored with this Raiders team at all, but I don't bet the Raiders anymore, because anytime that I've bet the Raiders for or against, I end up on the wrong side of them.
Oh,
They seem to do that for me. Like, that's one of those teams, as you know, that no matter how many times you bet them for or against, it just never seems to come out your way. So I'll avoid them, and I'll move on to the team that I'm actually super bullish on this year. I love the Los Angeles Chargers. I
Really?
really
Okay.
do. Getting rid of Anthony Lynn, I think, is a huge, huge move. Bring in Brandon Staley. Okay, good. Defensive-minded coach. He'll definitely be able to focus on that side of the ball. He brings in Joe Lombardi, former QB coach for the Saints, who has basically spent, the last 10 years working in that offense, working with Drew Brees, working under Sean Payton, putting together this offensive scheme with them. It's Sean Payton's offense. He's bringing that scheme to the Chargers, which to me, listen, Chargers middle of the road offensive line. Saints never had this be all end all offensive line. Austin Eckler in the Kamara role, right? You got Justin Herbert in the Drew Brees role. You've got Keenan Allen. Mike Williams is a guy who I think can step up in this scheme, given what the Saints usually did with their ex-receiver, i.e. Michael Thomas. And then they bring over Jared Cook to handle the tight end duties. He was with the Saints for the last 2 years, averaged 600 yards and 7 touchdowns per season over his last 2 years there. I think when you've got what you've got going on with the Chargers and the change in scheme, addition by subtraction, getting rid of Anthony Lynn, this number here at 9.5, I'm definitely leaning on the over. I think that this is an 11 or a 12 team win team.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's really interesting. What's funny about the Chargers is that we sort of go down this road every year with them having a sort of high win total, I think you could say, like in the 9-ish, 10-ish range, and they tend to underachieve. You mentioned betting on the Raiders. There isn't a person who's bet on sports that has not lost money on the Chargers in the last 5 years.
Chargers at home by more than a touchdown.
I mean, my gosh, they have just been disappointing. You're right. The coaching was very poor the last few games. Watching what they did to Herbert, like just complete, like I was so good in the first half, and then all of a sudden it was like dink and dunk in the second. So you know what? I'll just back you here. I mean, look, we've gone over every team in the NFL. I think that we've gone through the AFC, and I've already given seven leans on unders. So this is probably the big wild card one to kind of even it out one way or the other. Does more of the AFC go over, or do they go under? So, look, I'll just go with you. I don't have a strong opinion on the Chargers except for I got to see it through a little bit before I believe in full that they're going to turn it around, because it just hasn't mattered who their coach is, whether it was who was that other coach that they had that they fired and they brought him back as a defensive coordinator with Lynn. I forget his name. McCoy? Was that his name?
I don't even remember.
Mike McCoy?
Yeah. Mike McCoy.
Yeah, remember him? Yeah.
I do remember him.
So look, I'll tell you this. If Denver is the worst team in the AFC,
yes,
and I think there's a chance that that's close, the Chargers are going to go over. So I don't think I love it, but I can tell you that all they have to do is go 10-7, and that doesn't seem to be too difficult with the Raiders in the division, and certainly with Denver.
Yeah, there you go. 4 wins right there, baby. Well, we'll have to see at what time of year they play Denver at home. Right?
Yeah, we gotta bet Denver for sure. Week 1 and week 2.
That's gonna be the worst.
What are you talking about? Denver?
You know what? I gotta look at it. I gotta look up the schedule here.
I think they're on the road week 1, if I'm not mistaken.
I just need to see it. Where is it for me? Oh my goodness. Chargers. Let's see. Week 1 at Washington. I just want to know when they played Denver the first time in Denver. Oh, dude, that's not. Holy cow. That's not until Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so Denver
will be in the tank by then.
Denver opens up with 2 road games this year, at the Giants and at Jacksonville. So they're going to be 0-2 going into that Jets game, the third game of the year, and they're going to be probably big favorites. We're going to probably have to take them in that third game. So
it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a ton of fun. There you go. It's our look at the AFC West. Big thank you to all of you for tuning in, for liking, subscribing. AFC is completely in the book. So if you missed any of the rest of it, check it out on wageralarm.com. Big thanks to our producer, Matt Sells, who always does such an amazing job. For Craig Mish, I'm Howard Bender. We'll catch you next time.